So essentially, you're asking me, you want to leave home, you're living with your parents, how to do that? Okay. You're in education, so you're not working currently. Is that correct? Okay. And your graduation is in 6 or 7 months? Okay. I understand. Now, without having an income, having a job, then it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for you to leave the family home. So at least until your graduation, until you're fully qualified or you're ready to leave full-time education and take up employment, then you need to stay at home. If the conditions where you're living, and this applies to anybody, if the conditions where you're living, and I mean, I'm making the assumption the conditions where you're living are safe. Is that correct? Yes, it's safe. Yeah, as long as you're safe, and this applies to anybody, then we will always have desires to move on. There's an expression in English that refers to sheep, actually, and it's the grass is always greener on the other side. We always think that something else will be better than what we have. If we're living in India, we think it would be better to live in Vietnam. If we think we're in Vietnam, we think it would be better to live in Thailand, and eventually we might think it'd be better to live in India. We have this nagging thought always. This is created out of our natural desire, and our natural desire comes from greed. Greed being one of the root causes of all of our problems: greed, hatred, delusion. Now, a little bit of hatred or disliking or aversion is what's causing you to want to leave home. Without going into the details that you've exactly said, let's just say you're uncomfortable now. You've grown up, you're maturing, and you're finding the relationship with your parents a little overbearing for your independent lifestyle. Is that correct? When you're able to work and afford somewhere nice to live alone or with someone else, then you will be able to do that. And you have all of that to look forward to. You're young, and you are very fortunate in that you can live with your parents. Now, whether it's your parents or it's your siblings or whether it's your relationship, when you live with someone, it's never a smooth path all of the time. It always has its ups and downs, and often it can seem that most of the time it's downs. This is because we get used to the other people, and we are not mindfully understanding that we're reflecting what we don't like in ourselves upon them sometimes. And this is often the cause of aversion towards those people, not because there's anything inherently wrong with them at all. They're not changing. It's just you wishing they were a different way. So you're really not liking yourself. And taking yourself out of the situation into another situation, so moving into a different home or a different country, you take yourself with you, and all that you're finding aversion in yourself also along with you. Now, I hope that's not too confusing. In summary, what I'm saying is, I think firstly at the moment you're not in a position to move out. If that's correct, then I can say you need to just, the expression we would use is put up with it, accept it. Acceptance is the basis of patience, and patience and endurance is one of the greatest powers you can develop in your life. If you can develop patience and endurance, and the Buddha taught this, then you develop enormous power to overcome most problems that you will ever encounter, even including dying towards the end of your life when you're suffering. Patience and endurance will help you through that process. Now, really, you're not exactly suffering, you're just not liking what you're having, and you're not liking it because you feel a little restricted. So this is the time to just divert your attention away from that and absorb yourself into your studies. You have examinations coming up and you have coursework to finish. If you really absorb yourself into that, I know you're having some difficulty absorbing into meditation at the moment, and that's understandable. In education, it can be quite a difficult time to be practicing samadhi meditation, let's say. So you can be practicing mindfulness of your feelings, just being aware of your feelings and your emotions, mindfulness of your body, being aware of what's going on with your body, and your surroundings, your environment, including that of your home that you're currently, let's say, disliking a little bit, and your feelings towards the people in your home. Be more aware of that, bring that into more focus. But in the meantime, it's quite acceptable. I don't recommend distraction as a way out of our problems ordinarily, because the practice of Buddhism is not about that. It's the opposite, in fact. It's about seeing your problems and dealing with them, not distracting. But in your situation, it's a great opportunity to absorb yourself, put your focus and your energy into your class, your college, your education, your work. Yes?